Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
heck am I doing to myself? Good gracious. I don't know what I did to myself over on the portrait. Maybe I just, because I got it bigger than I usually have it, my face feels like it's like right there. Guys, I noticed, I've been going back and getting some of the videos because as you guys notice, I've been dropping some videos on different platforms. I did want to throw this out here to blank screen, okay? Oh, sorry, bullshit. Oh, we even got a button for you. See?
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
This animal, now you guys know how disruptive this animal has been to this show for the last 3 years, and it's getting to the point where it's winding down. We're going to be making some decisions, and I think I've already made my decision on how I'm going to handle this situation. I think I'm pretty. I think I know where I'm going with this. I mean, we have over at this point close to 250 emails from this animal. That's just to me, not even including people from my team. And so he's trying to hit my account with privacy complaints. I'm fighting the privacy complaints, but I'm downloading the videos. They're going right back up. I'm gonna let you right now. We're gonna be redoing the blank screen photo. I'm going to have a photo of his eyes and his face. I'm going to have another side without those things. So you, the people, if you really want to know who he is, all you have to do is overlay them. I will be successful. And not only that, am I putting this down just for him to understand, you will not bully me or intimidate me. And now I have decided and put my efforts into opening multiple accounts, about 300 to be exact. I've had a few of them. But 300 accounts to be exact, Proton mails. And now I'm going to set up YouTube channels. It's probably going to take me in my downtime about 3 weeks, but every day that I set up another, 3 to 5 channels, I'm going to drop his photo on those channels. I'm going to keep dropping his photo on those channels. I'm going to keep putting his name out there. I am going to keep doing what I can because he has done horrible things. He is a predator of women. It's not just me or Sonia that he has been stalking. It's other women on these platforms, and I have had it. And then he thinks that he has so much control. So what I'm going to continue to do is I'm going to make sure from this point forward, we fight back. So if you guys would like to join me, reach out to me, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'm happy to give you guys his photo. You go to Proton Mail, set up an email, set up an account, drop it. Drop it like it's hot, right? I didn't realize this is what they were doing to me. Well, we've learned because like I said, I don't think of these things. I learn from the hate channels. So obviously if they can do it, so can everybody else, right? If they can injure people's channels under the guise of hundreds of channels that's only owned by one. Certainly, we've got 67 people here. If we all grab, that's 700 channels. I wonder if that is how they do it. I wonder if that's what they teach each other over there in that Discord. How to multiply these channels? Wouldn't it be weird if we found out the hate channels aren't getting these enormous views? That they just have several people on several different devices watching them at the same time? How creepy would that be? That you literally advise your audience to do that. In back rooms, in back chat rooms. It's just amazing to me. It's just amazing to me the things people come up with. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it really is. It's just amazing to me. But you know what? If they can do it, we can do it better. That's the way I look at it. I don't like playing games, but you know what? I also don't like people being able to do terrible things to my mods and act like they are not going to be held accountable. Bitch, please. Okay, yeah, we'll start looking at your playbook and start using your playbook against you. That's what we'll start doing. This can really get ugly, and then not only that, I'm also clipping all of this. I have made the decision to go after him federally. I'm going to, because he was brought to me by Queen Bee and Burt Toast, and since Queen Bee hasn't really done anything after our case that I can see. And of course, we're keeping eyes and ears open, but I don't see where she's going to be involved, but I can definitely see where I can bring in Burnt Toast. So I think I am going after both of them because I think that they have been in contact with one another. I think that they have been working behind the scenes in a very concerted effort to try to do damage, not just to me, but to Hidden True Crime Podcast. I think we can get some affidavits from her. I think there's a lot of things that we can do as a society, and anybody that's dealing with Burnt Toast or Blank Screen, I think you guys need to come forward. My email is bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. It's going to cost me, several $100 to file an action. It's going to cost me another $150 or so to file subpoenas. And we're going to need about 2 or 3 different, maybe 4 different subpoenas, because we're going to be hitting multiple people, because I don't trust them. I don't trust Google has their real name, but I do trust that Cash App does. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got money going into the bank. So we're going to hit them like that. And the reason why I'm being so public about it is because I don't want to go there. But they're forcing my hand, and they know when they force my hand, that's where we go. And they're thinking, oh my God, they're never going to trust me. A court order is a court order. And if you think I don't have claims here, you're wrong. I'm going to be bringing the 250 emails that you have sent me. And a judge is going to allow me to unmask you, son. I'm just letting you know you are monetized. You're on YouTube, monetized. So there's no way, even if you used a fake name for monetization on YouTube, you're not going to trust anybody but your mama or your grandma or your girlfriend or your wife, right? You ain't going to trust some Joe Blow to have their account information, and nobody's going to want the tax liability from it either. Not that you make very much money on here, because nobody pays attention to you. But anyways, I digress. I'm done talking about it. He's trying, we know we got the right guy, because if we didn't have the right guy, why is he filing privacy complaints? Remember, I told you. I tell ya, he's too busy trying to convince me that that's not him for it not to be him. If it wasn't him, he wouldn't give a shit. He'd be like, go ahead and spread it around a little bit more. Nobody cares. Dude, it's not me, If somebody had the wrong photo of me, I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It's just, it's not, I don't know. I'd be like, go ahead and, just go ahead and flash it up. So we're going to make a new bullshit photo for him that he can't, because it's going to be AI at that point. We'll go ahead and cartoon it if need be. You're not going to tell me I can't post your photo after what you've done to me. I will promise you, your photo will remain. You can take those down. What do they do to my account? They do absolutely squat. I don't get hit by YouTube at all. I don't get a community strike. I don't get anything for those privacy things. They just removed the video. I've downloaded them. They're going back up, bitch. So what did you just do? You spent a whole lot of time going in there, filling out a report, and you did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay, well, there's the drama. We will be successful. Oh, yes, that's me. Got it. My prompt expired. Okay. Well, it's still me. I think I got it from the other phone. I had a lot of problems, y'all. My computer went okay? I don't know what happened to it. Hopefully I'm coming in. I don't even know if I'm glitchy and shit on here. I don't know. I went back to watch the one from yesterday, and I was a little glitchy in the intro video and stuff. I didn't like that. So if you guys are wondering, we're having a great day. We did a great thing this morning. We went out. We supported a great cause. We were able to raise $100 for Turning Points in my community, which really helps a lot of disadvantaged. It's surprising that somebody like Bullshit and BT are not happy that we do so much for our community and disadvantaged people, that they literally attack us, for doing good work. It is mind-boggling. You don't hear what other content creator on here is in their community like me. Who else? What other content creator do you find that goes and supports causes that helps get people off drugs, puts roofs over their heads, put hot meals in their bellies? Please, how many other content creator up here do that? Right? You guys see the work we do. We present all the work we do here. And I get so frustrated that there are so many people that condemn this channel with all the good that we do, not just in our communities, but communities abroad, because we utilize the law for our purposes. We raise our voices. We use the Constitution and the law to apply pressure in these cases. They hate us. They hate us for making law enforcement accountable to we the people. They hate us. They hate us for going and doing good work and giving of ourselves to people without charging those people money. They hate us for that. They hate us for our advocacy and our volunteer work. They hate us. You know what they want to do? They want to support the monsters. They want to put the monsters on pedestals, much like Chris and Katie Proudfoot. Have you guys heard about Chris and Katie Proudfoot? Chris and Katie Proudfoot are two despicable parents, in my opinion. Okay? You got Chris, which is a very violent, verbally violent, physically violent, spiritually violent. He's just a violent individual. When he doesn't get his way, he acts like a blessed 2-year-old. Okay? Then you got Katie. She was AR'd at a very young age, 5 years old, very young. Okay? Having something, and it's not her fault that she's messed up. She has no choice about the matter, does she? This is the prime example of what essaying children does to children in the future. This is exactly why we don't like child trauma. Because the ending of that child trauma is Katie Proudfoot. Do you guys understand that? Do you guys understand that Katie Proudfoot is a product of children being abused at such a young age? You know? Hashtag Chris Proudfoot, hashtag Katie Proudfoot, amen. The most dangerous hashtags on this platform. Thank you. That's a good one right there. Pretty shocking. 655 days. Where's Sebastian? Where's the tears? Where's the losing their shit and saying, bring my effing baby home? Where is that? You see it from Seth. You see it from Seth. Where was Seth? Where was Seth? He was in his community handing out flyers, sitting by a table, waiting to answer any questions people may have, or you know, be there for any type of leads. Where was Chris and Katie? They were partying, okay? Did you hear Katie? We're going to get to it again. Did you hear Katie on Duchess? Did you hear her? You thought she was having a party. I wish they would let me. Oh, wait, hi. I'm working, honey. Oh, you're such a cutie pie. You know you're a cutie pie. Go. Mommy's working. Mommy's working. They had a great time. Hee hee, ha ha. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is so funny. Oh my gosh, do you remember that? Oh my, yeah, I know. It's just, wow, you really, did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that grr? Could you guys hear? Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm glad you guys, come here. Okay, come on. I don't know what's wrong. Oh, okay, thank you for the note. What do you have to pee poo poo? What's going on here? Did you hear something? Okay, so where was I? Before we get rolling into this, I forgot this until I just saw somebody's name, Eric, come in here, and it just reminded me. You guys know our beautiful April Rain and Eric with an H. You guys know who I'm speaking of? They've been with us through thick and thin through this case. They've been out with me at my court hearings. They've been with Seth in his time of need. They've just been very beneficial. They were one of two of the people that I wanted to go to the stake thing with Seth, but they were unavailable. And I knew that before I bought the tickets, but I knew no matter what, I didn't want Seth going alone. So I knew I was going to have to buy 5 tickets regardless. I just didn't have any other people, to think of for that. So in long story short, Lady Freedom and the singer, oh my gosh, Gentry. Oh, why do I always forget her name? Gentry? Is that right? Oh, good gracious. I know it's Gentry, but anyways, I apologize if I butchered her name. I've only met her one time, so I'm sure she'll forgive me. But anyways, April reached out to me and let me know that Eric and his brother really do need prayers. And I didn't want to throw this out here either, but it'll probably be of good accord now that a few weeks have passed, also for Tony and Dana. But Eric H. and his brother just lost their father. And it's been very hard, according to April. So if you guys could say prayers for him and his brother and his family, I would really, really, really greatly appreciate it. Another issue is, many of you guys didn't know, but right at Thanksgiving, Dana also lost her father. I think it was the day before Thanksgiving. Maybe it was on Thanksgiving. I know it was right there. So thank you guys. Yeah. And it's never good. I mean, you're never prepared. Your parents are there from birth. I mean, everything you've done, your parents have been there for. It doesn't matter how old we get. We always, we want our parents there for forever, right? And we know that thank you. And we know that it's impossible. Part of life, unfortunately, is death. And it's understandable. Like, we understand it a little bit more, and we can move on when we know it's, somebody a little older. Not that it makes it easy, because we're still their children. Okay. I mean, no matter how old we get, we're still, that's still our mom. That's still our dad. We look up to them. We look for guidance in life. And, for the first time, we're really floating in this life alone, without our guardians. And our guardians have always, in many cases, been our parents. So, it's just rough. I can't imagine for Dana. I can't imagine for Eric and his brother. I know it's very, very hard. So if we can just please keep them in our thoughts and prayers, that would be really nice. That would be really great. So getting back to this whole quirky thing with Chris and Katie and the total, once again, just like, how can two people get things so wrong? It almost feels intentional at this point. Like, they just, at this point, they feel like they've gotten away with it, and they're just, just in your face, blatant with it, and I truly do believe that there are some idiots out there, even investigators out there, that truly believe that these parents are just, the social media people are the worst. They just don't believe these people hurt their child, which is sick, because clearly they don't know statistics, and they don't know statistics to children that are like Sebastian. They're horrible. Okay? Parents do terrible things to their disadvantaged children. Their children that are disabled. Believe it or not, they do a lot of horrible stuff. So it's just, what do you do? I've been kind of lost since both parents passed away in the same month. Oh, that's got to be horrible. Did you know what? I always believe when your parents die in close proximity to one another, I truly believe that they were meant to be. I really do. Because I've heard, I truly, I mean, not that it, but there's just something about a broken heart to somebody that you love. And when you get to a certain age and you both die, like I knew a husband and wife that literally died minutes apart. I just feel like that's just, not that all marriages aren't special. I just feel like some are just a little more special than others. And you guys might disagree with me, but, I'm just saying, I just think it's, I don't know. It's sad. Yeah, it's sad, but, it's beautiful in a poetic type of way, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They always danced. Aw. I don't know. I just, if nothing more, silver linings and all, golly, don't make me start gushing. I got makeup on today, so we can't, because then the stuff gets into the eyeballs, and then we have really, really bad leaky balls, and then we have red balls, okay? Kind of like blue balls, but a little itchier. I'm just saying, okay? Why is my butt sticky? I'm just joking. Okay. All right. Let's get back on track. Oh, good gracious. Let's get back on track. All right, guys. So many of you guys, I just realized many of you guys sent me this video. Okay. Even, well, I don't think, I won't say that, but, I got this video from several sources. Okay. Several people, you guys know who you are. Several of you people sent it to me. Literally, it must be something that leaky red balls. Oh, my parents are 90. They have been together since they were 15. I'm 64. I need a padded room if they pass before me. Well, you know what? You better start padding that room. Unfortunately, I mean, it's just, that's beautiful, though. 15. I remember seeing my best friend, her and her husband were together 40 plus years. Like 40 plus years. And when he lost his life, the sound that she made, God, I just remember, it broke me. It broke me. She's never really dated or, married since his passing. So it's just one of those things. I think when you love somebody, it's harder to get over. It's harder just to move on. Anyways, let's get this turned around. We're not talking about Sabi, our family problems. We're talking about somebody else's family problems. Predominantly Katie and Christopher Proudfoot and their problems, and the fact that they have a son that is missing, and it seems like everybody in their area, at least law enforcement and the people, the decision makers of their area, appear to, be, silent. We don't know why they're silent. We don't know why they're choosing, to disrespect this situation. Like, we have a missing child. This is the largest search in their history. And for whatever reason, we cannot have any type of information or update, or that they're caring about this boy, that they're still working on the case. They just want it to go away. That's the impression I'm getting from law enforcement. Chris and Katie they've never cared, right? They've been living their life. They've been running away from home since this child disappeared. Hell, Chris wouldn't even come home until after this child was gone. Now he was gone, and all of a sudden they're ready to move, ready to be together, ready to go to Mississippi, ready to go to a motorcycle rally in South Carolina. Man, they're just ready to get it. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden reality hits, and it's like, oh, well, we got to play like we give a shit. And then you get Chris, and he's so angry because everybody's asking him tough questions that he can't answer because it's going to make him look like a piece of crap. And then we have Katie Proudfoot, that after a year and a half decides it's time to, I guess, speak. Hey guys, Teresa, you are, I forgot to put that on here. For those that are in here, Don Emery, you are in, I just want to go through here. I didn't say hi to the people, so we're going to start out with the vertical people. Don, you're in the vertical chat. Lori, you're in the vertical chat. Eeyore. Oh, I know some of you guys have come over here. I see B. Betty. I see Peggy, BMW Coupe, Hindsight. Hey, Hindsight, BMW Coupe. Mama Rissa must be in here somewhere. Sorry, it's a little shaky today. I may not do the whole vertical stream thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to or not, or keep it, because until I get something, I'm not liking how the first few times I used it, it was streaming well, and then I noticed that the last few times I've done it's always constantly hitting some keyframes and stuff like that, and I'm not sure how to resolve it, but I'm gonna have to do some research on it. Maybe we can get it resolved with another plugin. Maybe I'm gonna have to dump some stuff off my computer and put it on the drive here, but we'll figure it out as the time goes on. I think, yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, Teresa, you're in the vertical, and thank you. Cooper, it's nice to see you. Thank you for becoming the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room, and welcome aboard, folks. Welcome aboard. We appreciate that. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys, let's get started. Now, before we get started, let me just kind of give you the Reader's Digest version in case you are new to this channel. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime. We do a lot of hard-hitting true crime cases. This is the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian disappeared from inside his locked home where he was only with just his mom. And law enforcement said they'd never seen him walk out of the house. It appears as if he walked in and just disintegrated into air. Okay? However, around 6 something in the morning, about 6:33 in the morning, Christopher Proudfoot makes a phone call to the non-emergency dispatch line of Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Many people rumored to say that there's nobody that mans that phone. However, obviously somebody manned the phone. Somebody answered the phone and was able to send law enforcement out to their home. The cavalry showed up around 7 a.m. to their home. And from that point forward, it has been a whirlwind. Katie stated that that they went out to several places. They came home around 6:30ish, 6:45ish, and by 7:15, Sebastian is taking out the garbage. He comes in, he goes to bed. He goes to bed around 9. She's on the couch, she's studying, she's talking to Chris Proudfoot and falling asleep on the couch. Somewhere between the time she's on the phone with Chris, even though Chris has never acknowledged hearing it, Katie acknowledges hearing a thud, not just a noise, a thud or a thump. Okay? Very odd word. Hey, hindsight, there you are. It's nice to see you, love. Medic Biker, thank you for sending me this as well. And that time changed. When she heard the thud, the day that she heard the thud, she told a neighbor one time, and then it was an hour earlier that she told the rest of the world. So there is some discrepancy right at the very beginning from what she told a neighbor and what she told the rest of the world to have happened that evening and the morning that she woke up. It appeared, which is another crazy nuance in all of this that needs to be answered, is they called Seth at 6:20. However, their phone recording came into the sheriff's at 6:33. So they called to report Sebastian missing to Seth before they were called to report Sebastian missing to law enforcement. That is the only thing that can be concluded from that statement. That is the only thing that can be concluded from that statement. Seth received his text message and call at 6:20. Law enforcement has confirmed their call did not come into dispatch until 6:33 in the morning, some 13 minutes after. 13 minutes after they called Seth. 13 minutes after. And if you listen to all of their statements for almost a year, They specifically state that they called law enforcement immediately. They never once acknowledged ever calling Seth. Ever. So very, very, very interesting stuff. We know what happened after, right? After Sebastian went missing. We know we've caught Katie and Chris in lots of lies. This last abomination on Sebastian's birthday was horrid. Hey, Gina, it's nice to see you. Blessed Happy, Frank, it's nice to see you. Show Poodles, Michael, hey. Let Them 66, Gina H, it's nice to see you. But I digress. So let's get into this. This right here is very, very interesting for me. This is very, very interesting for me for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons is that this is an AI, okay? This particular video that we're about to watch, it looks like it was generated from AI. I typically do not like AI generated videos. I like to know that somebody is behind the AI manning it, making sure the information. Oh, Boogie, it's nice to see you, love. Aw, I'm wearing my Betty shirt today. Aw, I love that. I love that. Thank you. That's sweet. I knew she was getting antsy. She's hearing something outside. Hold on. Because it's so hard not to, you try to be the boss, right? You gotta be the boss, right? And so I'm trying to tell her to quit barking, and she walking in, she's you better not be growling at me. Oh, good gracious, that was so cute. All right. So some people had sent this to me, and as I was getting back, I don't really trust AI. I've seen several of them. Some of them is like said that Summer Wells has been found. Clearly, we know that that's not the case. Summer Wells was not found, and so we've heard. I think there was one going around a month ago saying Sebastian was found. I don't like him. Okay, but even though I don't like them, and I believe it was this channel right here, Criminal Veil, that is the one that did the other ones as well. I have to go back through their list, but there were a few that were so far wrong. It was disgusting. It was disgusting how bad they were off, and people were sending it to me, and I was like, guys, I don't know what to tell you. It's not true. It's not true. And so I kind of looked at this, and I'll be honest with you folks, when you guys sent it to me, I was almost ready to delete it. I was, but somebody else texted it to me, and it was somebody that I trusted. And I'm like, okay, let me look at this. And so I opened it up, and I listened to like the first 11 minutes of it, and I gotta say my mouth was, And even though this is an AI generated, or appears to be, it does seem to me that there is a human being behind it. Because the information so far up to that 11 minutes, now this is an hour something long video, so we're not going to take that much time. We're only going to do the first 10, 11 minutes. That'll consume our show. Okay, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you're in the vertical side, hit the thumbs up button. If you're in the horizontal side, hit the thumbs up button. If you're in the horizontal side, go over to the vertical side, hit the thumbs up button. If you're in the vertical stream, come on over here to the horizontal stream and give me a thumbs up, and then go back to whatever stream you want to go back to. Okay, support the channel. You're here watching. You might as well give it a little thumbs up. Otherwise, move on, right? If you don't like what you're watching, why watch it? That's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, we've got this here. And I feel like it's possible that it's manned, that this AI channel's manned, even though I think it was the one that did some misinformation previously. So let's get on with it, because I listened to the first 11 minutes of this, and I started thinking, this is pretty interesting. Oh, thank you guys. This is pretty interesting. is this what it could be? And the title of this is, did Chris set up a kidnapping or something to that effect? Let's see what it says here. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly what it says. Shocking. A kidnapping planned by Chris Proudfoot, ? The evidence finally lines up, ? True crime. So very interesting. Good title, good SEO ranking. Should probably have a little more viewership for 9 hours, but it's doing pretty good for 9 hours. It's got 2,800 views. Not too bad. Not too bad. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's listen to it, because I've got to tell you, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff.
It has surfaced, and it's been this long. It's just taking that long to find something. And what the video shows is kind of mind-boggling. We went from potentially not having a sighting to potentially having a sighting.
Okay. If you guys remember when this was, you're probably thinking, okay, when is this? Oh, thank you, Boogie. Thank you, love. You're probably all thinking, I gotta do the thing. Look, well, you're already part of the family. Welcome to this crazy family called the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. I gotta say it. It is what we do. It's what we do. It's like the birthday song at, Texas Roadhouse. No pun intended. Okay. So this was taken at the interview. This was after. This is when the unscrupulous PI found the boy walking his dog or trying to chase his dog and tried to pan that off as Sebastian Rogers, even though it was at midnight and Sebastian disappeared around 3 a.m. because we could see, somebody moving him out of the house. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is this was there. This was the person chasing the dog. Clearly, you could see the dog. You had to blow it up. But they really tried to use this PI to run interference on their case. And every time they thought that they might have something to push, some of the scrutiny off of them, they were debunked immediately. In this one, this particular one was debunked immediately from law enforcement. Remember that? Law enforcement debunked it. So none of this that they're talking about, well, it seems like we didn't have anything, but no, there's a possibility. No, there's not. Because this child never walked out of their home. It's been established by law enforcement. It's been established by the dogs. There is enough supporting documentation that can now support that Sebastian went inside that home and never went outside that home. And again, Chris and Katie are the ones that pushed a very specific door, saying that is the only door that he could have possibly went out, because all the windows and the other doors were locked and had different types of locking mechanisms on them, that the only way he could have left is through the front door, and he would have locked, the door was locked in the morning, and he would have been able to push the button to lock the door on his way out. That had to have been the way he walked out the door. Remember that? Do you guys remember that? If you guys remember those statements coming from Christopher Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot at the beginning of this case. Oh, let them 66. Thank you. I am very, very sorry, but my bot, everything's kind of, I obviously having some technical issues on my end that need to be resolved. So it might be a little, jerky, buffering a little bit here and a little bit there. I do apologize about that. I am going to try to get it fixed. So we do have a flyer for the Gathering of Voices. We're going to be gathering the week of the 23rd. We're going to have our main event that I'm wanting everybody to come to on the 26th. This is his 2-year milestone of being missing. Sorry about that. And we want to make it big, okay? We want to come out there with smiles. If you guys know we want signs there. Honk for Sebastian, lock them up, bring, no justice, no peace, but we're all going to be out there smiling. We're all going to be out there waving. We're all going to be out there on our best behavior. If there are people that are nasty or, why anybody would do a counter protest or anything like that, I have no idea, but God forbid if there is one, ignore them. Okay? Because we're there for Sebastian. Our calling is much higher than their calling. Okay? And so anybody that does choose to come out there, I do hope that you guys behave yourself. I mean, I never, so far, out of all the events I've done, I've never had to ask anybody to leave one of our events, but I'm not opposed to doing that if need be, okay? If need be. It's a public event. I mean, you really can't, but if you're making a disturbance, I'm pretty sure that law enforcement will have a problem with that. And if they don't have a problem with that, well, I guess we know why we're in the situation we're in. But I don't think they're going to make the public mistake, being on camera, not addressing issues that are the safety to protesters, right? If somebody's going there and acting a fool and they're not doing anything about it, well, we got a problem there. That will be definitely noticeable. So that's the way it's going to be. I'll be there all week. I'll be in front of Sumner County Sheriff all week long. If anybody knows anything about me, I come whether people show up or not, okay? So rain or shine, Betty's going to be out in front of Sumner County, okay? We're going to be, basically I'm going to be speaking to them for 5 minutes at the top of every single hour. We're going to be breaking down the case. This is not my first rodeo. This is what we do. We're going to hopefully enforce maybe law enforcement to, just acknowledge Sebastian's case. That there is a human being that's named Sebastian Rogers that they continuously fail. And we need we need them to step up to the plate and do the right thing. And it's time to hold a press conference. It's been 2 years. Okay, it's time to hold a press conference. It's time to show your taxpayers what they're paying for. Because I'm telling you, if you were and you could call my sheriff. Hey, Sheriff Snuggles Struggles, call my sheriff. You would get to my sheriff, okay? Rick Wells, call him. Ring, ring. Ring, ring, Mr. Rick Wells. How determined is your girl Betty? He's going to say, whoa, you got your hands full there, sir. Good luck with that one. But don't be violating her rights. Have a great day. Okay? I have a funny feeling my sheriff would probably say something like that. I don't know. I'm not him. I don't know what he says. He might say, oh, she's batshit crazy. Watch yourself. I don't know. Rick, what would you say? Rick's got to put up with me, okay? He's got to put up with me, but I always fight for him to have all the stuff he needs. All right, guys. So again, this was at the at that juncture where they would not even let Holly Thompson into their home. Okay, they wouldn't let Holly Thompson in their home. They went and met somewhere. You could see their attorneys in that room. This was the most insane thing I had ever seen in my life. Two parents that these people don't realize, and they don't care if they look suspicious. You know why? Because all Chris cares about is he doesn't care about image. He's just protecting his wife because his wife murdered a child, right? In my opinion, she's the one that murdered this child. And he's like, oh shit, we don't care how guilty you look. Shut up. And I truly believe that's what it is. And now she's out here talking. And it makes me wonder why, but we all know it was softball. So it didn't seem like Chris was there. Because I feel like if Chris was there, he would have cut in somewhere. He has a control problem. So I feel like if she was with Chris, we would have heard Chris's voice, period. And we didn't. So I don't know. I can guarantee it sounds like on his birthday, Chris Proudfoot wasn't with his wife. Katie was all by herself on her own son's birthday. That must have been pretty shitty. Knock him off for your old man, and your old man won't even stand by your side on his birthday. I hope she cried, but she didn't because she's a cold-hearted bitch.
Chris Proudfoot slipped when he said, "Sebastian will never sleep in that room again." a sentence no innocent parent could produce. When that slip is placed alongside his precise description of the only camera blind exit wrote, his efforts to shut down all search directions, and Sebastian's disappearance occurring exactly 1 week before the custody hearing, the stepfather extraction hypothesis stops being speculation. It becomes the only model that fits the evidence. If Chris wasn't involved, then how did he know the outcome in advance? Reconstructing the final known moments before Sebastian Rogers disappeared requires examining the physical, behavioral, and environmental data together rather than in isolation. When the available evidence is layered, a coherent forensic model emerges, one that aligns with a controlled extraction rather than a voluntary runaway or a stranger abduction.
Now, this is one angle, okay? And I think this more bodes with the work in BMW Coupe, Mama Rissa, and in hindsight have been working on, because they're feeling some type of way about the Texas Roadhouse, right? I'm feeling some type of way about the house. But at the end of the day, there are some very noticeable issues. For example, it was exactly 8 years to the day that Katie had filed for divorce, which was pretty bizarre, okay? Pretty shocking. She was with Seth for 8 years. On the 8-year milestone of her filing for divorce, her son disappears. I mean, it's weird. We also have the coincidence of Chris Proudfoot's custody hearing a week after Sebastian disappeared, and that was postponed by this disappearance. And we also heard from Nina, which gave us an insight into who Christopher Proudfoot truly was as a husband. Now, many people say you can't just take one person's word for it. I agree with you, Sandra. You can't take one person's word for it. You know, I think that there's, two sides in the truth. I think everybody has their opinion. The reason why I say this is because we come from true crime. And you can have 10 people watching something that transpires, say a shooting or a robbery or a burglary. And those 10 people will have a slightly different statement from one another. You can just expect it because they're telling their truth. And some of their truth can be clouded by angle, by view, by shock, right? So, there is their side and the truth. What's the truth? Well, I can tell you that we have a child that they wanted out of the house. We had a stepfather that gave an ultimatum and left the residence and never returned until after the child was gone. I believe this child is deceased. His father is holding out hope that he's still alive. There's many people in my chat that still hold out hope that this child is alive. And there's some people in this chat that also, mimic my opinion. Our opinions are just that. They're opinions. They don't equate to fact, okay? Which is a good thing. I always hope to be wrong with my assessments of these cases. It'd make me, believe it or not, I'd be very happy if some of these cases we were wrong on, that the child is somewhere. And a lot of the times we're not wrong. We're pretty accurate. And in this case, there's just something, because there's just one answer that nobody can answer for me. Even the hate channels that say that they believe that Katie may have put this child into a home. There's several questions that they can't answer. Who's paying for it, right? Who's paying for the home? Even if it was something that had like a scholarship or something like that, that's all stuff that has paperwork and social security numbers that need to be attached. Yeah. If you go to a facility, you need to have insurance cards, stuff that law enforcement can locate. Okay. And I know you guys are screaming HIPAA, but when HIPAA, you guys don't understand how quite HIPAA works. Law enforcement can go around HIPAA, okay? Under extenuating circumstances and a court order or a subpoena, they can work around HIPAA. So they can go into systems and see if there's any medication pulled for them or any insurance paperwork or anything like that. So it's really hard for me to believe that he's in one of these facilities, these facilities that are above board. Now, is there underground facilities, for children? I don't know who could trust something like that if they cared about their kid, but does Chris and Katie really care about Sebastian is the question that we have to answer. And quite frankly, based on their history, based on their lies, based on the fact that it appears that they abused this child at minimum verbally, at most frequently and physically, right? At worst. And I would think that any facility he went to, they would be required reporters. So when he told him he was being abused at home, they most likely would have had to, report that. Everybody thinks there's these secret, even black market and stuff like that, Michael Monkey Vaughn scenario. That's very few and far between. And look, even the people that were talking the biggest about this $10,000, they couldn't even keep him alive, and nor did they have any plans on really getting him out of there. So even that didn't even make sense. It just doesn't make sense, folks. It just doesn't make sense. But yet we're trying to make this make sense. So anyways, this whole portion is about the extraction. And I think that many of us did. The extraction was part of the theories at the beginning. But I think they kind of went away by the wayside, except for Mama Rissa and BMW Coupe and Hindsight, and they kept the pressure on. And so now we've got this story here actually making it make sense, where it goes from, a possibility to maybe a little more probable, right?
The absence of physical traces, combined with the predictable behavioral patterns documented in the files, allows for a reconstruction that is supported not by speculation but by exclusion and logical probability. The first and most important physical indicator is the absence of footprints. The terrain around the home included grass, soft patches, and areas where moisture or temperature would ordinarily capture at least partial impressions.
I thought that was explained very well because, we've been bouncing back and forth with this whole, would he have left in the middle of the night without shoes? I trust Seth to know whether his son was capable or would be willing to go outside in this degree of weather without shoes. But we have to remember, hey, Gwen, it's nice to see you, love. We have to remember that he disappeared in the middle of the night without shoes on. And we've talked about the fact that his DNA should have been more prevalent because he didn't have his shoes on, not less prevalent. Yet it appeared that he never put his feet on the ground. He levitated away from the house. I think we've used that terminology previously when covering this case, levitation. Because I think levitation is the only thing that could possibly explain why there was no scent, why there was no impressions in the ground, why there was no spots that had less, dampness on it, ninja style. Yep. I did change my name today. It just hasn't gone through. Send it. Oh, well, thank you. I'll be looking for it. Make sure when you come in here with your new name, you let me know. I appreciate that. If my kids was missing and someone thought, and I just want to let people know, if you guys are in my chat and somebody reaches out to you to harass you in any way, I want you to let me know right away. And you can reach me out to me to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I've got an FBI guy I need you to call. And I'm also going to instruct you to file a report with your local law enforcement. And for anybody that's in my chat, I always recommend you changing your name, you coming up with a name that you would like. Some people just don't care, right? Some people just don't care. They're like, no, this is it. I pity the fool, so whatever your flavor is, I'm down like 4 flat tires, but just let me know if something like that does happen. It's very, very, very important that you do.
Yet no footprints consistent with Sebastian's weight or gait were observed leading away from the house. This is unusual for any solo exit scenario. Runaways leave trails even partial, inconsistent, or degraded ones. The total absence of such impressions is the initial sign that Sebastian may not have left the house on foot. The absence of a scent trail reinforces this. Tracking dogs are trained to follow human scent across a wide variety of surfaces, and while environmental variables can degrade scent, the complete failure of dogs to establish any directional movement suggests that Sebastian was not walking independently through the area.
You know what they just said? He was not walking independently through the area. Basically, he would have had to levitate. Or somebody taking him out of the house. Which, let me go through let me go ahead and send one of these photos to us. Was that before or after? It was after. Okay, let me keep going. I will find it. That's Caitlin Harp. That was such a sad case. I need to get all that stuff out of here. Where is it? I just saw it as I was going through some of this stuff. Hold on. Here we are. I think this is it. Yep. Okay. If it works. I've been having a hard time with... I don't know why. There it goes. Did I just hear it go through? Yep. All right. There we go. So as you see, it's a blob carrying a blob. Behind that light, behind the light, it's a blob carrying a blob. You can make out almost a face. You can see kind of the face. Let me go over here. You can kind of see the face right here. And you can see something holding something here. So a head, you can clearly see a defined head. You can't make out whose head it is. I mean, I give you that. But the idea that this explains it. This photo, in my opinion, right here, explains everything. Because everybody knows that the dogs should have tracked something, yet they didn't. And we're believing he levitated out of the home, but we know he didn't levitate out of the home. So we go to the lights, we blow up the lights, we see something large being taken out of the home by somebody. CP's temperament and attitude towards Sebastian combined with FBI statistics make things obvious. Yes. Quick. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And in all fairness, I think that it was DS that sent me the Occam's razor. I had never heard of Occam's razor until that point. It sounds interesting. Maybe I have in a past life. I just forgot about it. You know, as time goes on, you forget about some things you learned. Maybe in my psychology class. You know, I've taken a lot of classes over the years, and I just don't remember hearing Occam's razor. But when it was sent here and we read it here live on the air, it made sense. For problem-solving techniques, you know, it's usually the most obvious answer. Occam razor, so true. Such a good point. Yes. Yes. And so I didn't even think about that because I didn't know about it. But I'm learning a lot. You know, people send me a lot of stuff that I read, even though I don't bring it all. It's not that I don't want to bring it up to my audience. It's I forget. Like even now, I know that same person has 3 different reports in my email that I keep wanting to bring up and forget. I'm not going to hunt for them now, but we are going to have to, remind me to go over them because it's good information. I've read it. Was that him and the no. Mm-mm. This was the lights video. This is we had some people, even Hindsight's done amazing work, by the way. She was able to put this all into a video. You can clearly see somebody walking. Like to me, I feel like it's them taking Sebastian out of the house. He wasn't walking. I'm just going to let you know that. He was being carried. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, honestly. But if we are to use, because I think it's going to be interesting because, you know, now that we have AI, and I think more of us are using more and more AI, we're inputting information because we want the truth. So we're not trying to manipulate the information we're putting into AI. Can AI be manipulated? In my opinion, it can. Okay. I think if you work with AI long enough or you plug in bad information for fact, you know, like say you put opinions in instead of factual information, it's going to base, you know, the facts around opinions. And so you can manipulate it. But for those that really want the truth, I think that you can take some stuff and start plugging it in. Just the factual stuff, you know, the dates, the times, you know, even explaining this blob, you know, this photo here. I think that adding this photo or explaining this photo and letting it see it and letting it know about these lights in the, you know, on that area, that common area leading over to the vehicle. You know, you can build stuff, but I really think that AI is really taking over a lot of aspects. And I wonder if it's going to be, if it'll help, you know, help solve this case. And I know people are using it a lot to understand no scent picked up by dogs because Sebastian was carried out. I mean, really, if we were to apply Occam's razor, right? That's really what's being implied here. Is it not? Let me go to the audience. Do you guys believe that the reason why the dogs, and be honest, we've got 182 people in our main chat. We have, I'll try to monitor our other chat as well. Hey, Mama Bear, you're in the vertical chat, so if you don't see anybody in there, we got about 40 people in the vertical chat. Well, I'll try to monitor your answers as well, but do you guys believe, one, that yes, you believe the reason why no scent was picked up was because Sebastian was carried out? If you believe there's another reason why the dogs didn't pick up the dog scent, please press 2. But if you believe that the no scent picked up by dogs was because Sebastian was carried out, your answer would be 1. So let's see what we got here. And again, if you think there's another reason, now I didn't ask you what the reason was. If you think it's any other reason but him being carried out, you'll be a 2. All right, so we've got a good, healthy number of people that believe he was carried out. But I mean, at the end of the day, what is Jenny saying? Hold on, let me read the Jenny. I'm like, what the hell is that? But it looks heavy and over both sides of whoever is carrying. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's kind of, there's something here with all of this, and in my opinion, without a doubt, I truly believe there's, it's just something here. So we got a lot of ones. Okay, Show Poodles is a 2. Cinderella is a 2. Okay, thank you for being honest about that. Now, for both of you, we'll start off. Well, you guys can answer, and I'll find the answer when you guys answer. Okay, so you guys are a 2. So Show Poodles is a 2, and Cinderella is a 2. Oh, wait, didn't make it home. Okay, busy mom. Okay, so that explains that was just about what I was going to ask the other 2. So busy mama is a 2 because she doesn't believe he made it home. Cinderella, Show Poodles. What is the reason you don't believe he was carried out? And let them 66 as well. Tell me the reason, because I wanted to wait before I asked you because I wanted to see how many there were first. But since there's so few of the 2, but you guys are 2 from my, you guys are people that I like to hear from. So I feel like he lives there, but no scent of him at all. I clarify that, Show Poodles. I'm still not understanding your position. Okay, so Cinderella saying he didn't make it home, and we have which other one? I just lost your guys' names. Hold on a second. Let me find the other one. Let them 66. What's your reason? I think you just said, okay, there was somebody I missed there. Show Poodle. Okay, I got Show Poodles. Cinderella. I got Cinderella, Show Poodles. And there was another 2. Let them 66. I got you. But there was another one, I thought. Okay. Well, either way. Don't think he made it home. So Let them 66 doesn't believe he made it home. So it looks like the one, I'm still waiting for Show Poodle. Show Poodle, clarify that for me. So it seems like everybody, the ones that were a 2, and I said there it is, busy mom. That's who did the other one. So the majority of them, except Show Poodles, believes he didn't make it home. And Show Poodles, I believe it's about a scent. I think he was dropped off. Ooh, interesting. None of the dogs were scent dogs. They were ground disturbance dogs and cadaver dogs, in my opinion. Okay, so maybe the wrong dogs. There was a scent picked up in the house, of course, not outside. Well, you know what? That's kind of a little... I'm still unfamiliar with that. Because clearly there was some type of scent. Or ground disturbance. But they kept saying scent. The handler kept saying scent. Because the handler of the dog that dived into the water was a scent dog. If I remember, because I'm pretty sure they talked about him being a scent dog. I don't want to assume, because that might throw things off. You're right. We don't know what kind of dogs they were. We know that they did have ground disturbance dogs there. We know that they did have cadaver dogs at some point there. We know that they did have physical scent dogs on scene at some point. We don't know the timing of those coming to the property. But I think I think at this point there's been every type of dog there. Something was had. They said it was, and I keep, guys, listen to this, okay? Let me just throw this out there to you before we move on too much with this video. Let me throw this out there to you and ask you guys your opinion of it. You guys know how we seen the lights video, right? This was birthed from the lights video, okay? This wasn't something that just poof, here we are, okay? This was birthed from the lights video. Somebody took that lights video and blew it up and blew it up and blew it up and blew it up, all right? Kept enlarging, and then started working with the highlights, the low lights, the filters, to change lighting and stuff like that, to start raising the image behind the lights to the surface. It's a process that goes on. We've done it here. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it does not. This one, many people were coming up with the same stuff, okay? Every time anybody got a hold of it and enlarged it, it was basically the same image that we all got. Some people may have picked different, frames to which to work with, because there was 1 minute and 30 seconds of a dot going across the yard. But every single, in my opinion, every single variation of the blob, there was something very large in the blobs that appeared to be carried by the blob. So if I had to be factual here, it appeared that a blob, which was derived from a little speck of light, it appeared when they blew this up, every single one, and no matter which frame they took, it appeared to be a blob carrying a larger blob. So that is the problem I'm having, and I understand that there's something that feels premeditated about this. I think if we didn't acknowledge that there's some type of premeditation, I mean, let's face it, we always keep circling back to it. Katie Proudfoot was acting very strange and tight inside a Texas roadhouse. She had this uneasy look about her. She seemed to be looking around for somebody or something. So, I mean, we can't ignore the weird behavior that we all watched. It seemed off. And it almost has one of the theories absolutely could be premeditation. I don't think there's any theory we have that doesn't incorporate this premeditation aspect. Everything feels premeditated. Well, after this video that somebody sent me, we kind of feel a little premeditation, because it feels too coincidental. I mean, if we really break it down, you're looking at this being a week before Chris's custody battle. You're looking at it being on literally the 8-year milestone of Katie filing for divorce from Seth, which she happened to be married to for 8 years. I mean, the coincidences of this case alone is hard to ignore, in my opinion. So you couple that with Katie's weird behavior and this video, I think this really supports premeditation and, some other possibility. But what? If he's alive, where the hell is this child? And why would they go through all of this if Seth just wants his son? He's 17 years old. Do they really think he's coming after child support? I mean, we know how cheap of a bastard frickin' Chris Proudfoot is, but come on! Give the man his son back if he's alive! Because every day that they start joking around about this and mocking Seth for being upset and going here and having a laugh and a joke, meanwhile, this child is missing. It looks horrible. It looks horrible. How heartless can two frickin' people be? The problem is I don't believe they would go through all of this. I really don't. I I don't think Chris in his wildest dreams would ever want to be called a murderer. Neither would he want his wife being called a murderer. I truly believe if they did not murder this child, they would tell the whole world where he is. And instead, they're out there providing distractions, not looking, not doing anything. And I don't know any facility that's going to take this child without some significant funds up front. Where do those funds come from? You just can't poop thousands of dollars a month. Okay? These facilities cost $7,500 a month. Where the hell is the money coming from? Again, if it's coming from the medical world, if it's coming from Medicaid, if it's coming from something like that, okay. Okay. But I don't think it is, because they would have found him. They would have found him with his social security number, or his insurance card, or his medication. That's what it seems like. Sure does. It sure does, doesn't it? It is absolutely sad and abhorrent what they have done to this child, to this case, to this child's father, to me, to the other searchers that they've caused nothing but grief and heartache for, destroying their property, putting holes in their tires, throwing me in jail. Like, they have literally no care in the world to bring this boy home. I'm the problem, not them. Me. This channel's the problem. Hey, 5D, it's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you're doing well. You know? I could be wrong, but I think they could afford Bledsoe because it's a shithole. It was the cheapest place they could afford. And if he was there, he would have been found. So they didn't find him. All their threats, yeah. All of them. All of them. It's been horrific. It really has. She's afraid of having to pay support. That's what I thought was at first, but I really truly believe I think she was just at her wit's end. You know, I really do. I think she took on too much. She was going to school. She was taking care of that whole entire house by herself. Chris wasn't helping. He wasn't coming home. She knows he was having an affair on her. And she's got an unruly kid. And I'm saying unruly because not that he's a bad kid, but I think he had a meltdown. From everything I'm understanding is he was on his way to a meltdown. Even Seth said something about his hands being in his pocket and that not being good. And I feel like he just popped off at the mouth at the wrong time and she just freaking flipped. And by the time she stopped, it was just too late. Like that, that's kind of where I'm at with all of this. But that's just my opinion. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. It really is just my opinion, right? And it doesn't explain a few other things, though. My opinion doesn't explain the weird behavior Katie was dealing with or doing at the Texas Roadhouse. It doesn't change the weird behavior of some of the people that were observed at the Texas Roadhouse. Even the green hoodie person, like we're hearing that person's deceased. We heard a lot of different rumors, you know? And I gotta tell you, when the rumors started ramping up, and this is in Fruitland, Idaho, you want to talk about a hunky-dunky, small little community. Fruitland, Idaho is pretty hunky-dunky, small community, okay? It really is. But J.D. Huff, he had a tough job with Michael Monkey Vaughn. And, he had a similar situation, much younger kid, right? And he's from a small community, much like Sumner County. And his handling of his case and the handling of Sumner County are two polar opposites. J.D. Huff, wasn't as scared of the cameras. he was all about trying to get some help for this child. He wasn't going to let any stone go unturned. And, everybody was hunky-dory, working together, trying to get some information and everything like that. But, as the case started dragging on, people started questioning, because we never really questioned the parents. Could the parents be involved? Because we were coming off of Summerwell, well, we were actively working the Summerwell's case when Michael Monkey Vaughn disappeared. And so we were dealing with that, and we were dealing with Dawn Wells and Candace Bly, which were just terrible people. Everything we were finding out from their friends and stuff like that were just terrible people. It's just terrible, terrible, terrible. And then we go to Michael Monkey Vaughn. So everybody was pretty much putting Brandy and Tyler on this pedestal, and we never thought anything of it because they were just out there doing anything and everything that they could to find their child. However, on the flip side, Don and Candace were not. So, but there was a time when things started getting, nobody was getting answers, and people started overly observing, their behavior. And I remember I talked to some trusted people that were coming to the show at the time, and we had the call session, and I started asking them questions, what do you think? And they started saying, well, this was kind of weird. This kind of made me feel, a little uncomfortable and stuff like that. And I'm like, And so we had already been talking about, the differences between Candace and Brandy for such a significant time. It was getting hard. I was starting to feel like maybe she could have had some involvement in her son, and I had to, stop myself. And so we got a group together, and we were going out to Idaho. One of the girls dropped off, and then it was just me and Dolly. And so we went out there, and we gave it a good whirl to try to find out, make, heads or tails. Is there a possibility of this mother or this father being remotely responsible? And I can tell you with being there, I don't know, maybe an hour, we got all the information that we needed that they were not involved. That's why I love boots on the ground. It's just better quality research, quality information. You see people eyeball to eyeball, you talk to people, they see you, they know you're there, trying to help, and they're usually very forthcoming, and that was the case. So we were able to resolve that issue fairly quickly. So we started getting to work on trying to figure out where could this child have been taken, where are some areas that he could have wandered off to himself and got himself in a pickle, because he's not too far. I mean, it's a little distance to the Snake River, but it's not too far away. It wouldn't be unmanageable for him to run down there. Quite frankly, we learned from Brandy that they went down to that area quite often. They take the kids for a walk as a family and go down there. And this Snake River was, it flowed really fast. If he fell into that water, it would have pushed him away. So we were looking at all angles, including the fact that we did hear rumors that there was a house in the community on the other side of the road that was problematic. We were provided about 13 different house numbers, no street numbers, and said it's most likely one of these. And of course, the Stacy Wandra and Sarah Wandra's house number was on this list. So, long story short, we went out there. But J.D. Huff, when people started turning their attention onto Brandy and Tyler, you know what he did? He called a press conference. And while he didn't give a whole lot of information, he made it very clear that their focus was not on the parents. They didn't tell us where their focus was. They just made it very clear it wasn't on the parents. So, in me telling this, hey, T.D. Dean, it's nice to see you. Bombastic, it's nice to see you. Whatever happened with the IRV? A good question. Was it ever checked? That's another good question. I don't know. If he was even weighted down, his body would have been discovered by now. Yeah, I remember Lacey Peterson. Yeah. But we also have to remember that Chris and Katie are military trained. Scott Peterson was not. Okay. They have a different type of training. They have a different type of thought process that's ingrained in their brain, for them to quickly, you got to understand they're trained to be presented with a problem and quickly almost be like a quick engineer and trying to figure out how to overcome it. And they're trained to think on their feet like that. And I think that anybody that's been in a Navy knows how to sink something because that's their job. People that are, just boat owners, right? And just go out on the boat for leisure. They're not trained in water. I think people trained in water have a little more better training on how to sink something and it not come back up. But that's not where my mindset is with Chris, because I still think in the back of his mind, he would have thought that maybe he will pop up later, but he came back confident that he will never be found again. And that's when my stomach just sunk. Because it tells me in my mind, just again, this is just my mind. This is just my thought process. When he came out and started saying that, it implied that he's never going to be found. And so my brain is working overtime in how can somebody never be found? And of course, it's because there's nothing left. That's kind of where my brain goes when I hear stuff like that. And it's very hard because I don't want to think like that. But that's where my brain goes when I hear, Chris make that statement. Because who would be so confident unless they know? I mean, even if he sunk him in the water, does he really think he's gone? That he'll never be found? Maybe he thinks he's that good. I hope he is not as deranged. But we heard a lot of stuff about what he did to animals when he was younger, guys. And that's what makes me think that he has the guts to do what I think he did. Katie is very smart people. Yes, they are very smart people. And I kept telling people about Don Wells because everybody underestimated Don Wells. I told people since the minute I came on the case, I said, do not underestimate Don Wells. If you guys were here with me during Summer Wells, raise your hand if you heard me say that. I said that so many times because people kept calling Don Wells dumb as a box of rocks. And I said, you guys keep calling that man dumb as a box of rocks. But I'm telling you, that man is street smart like what? He may not be book smart, but that man is definitely some street smart. Don't underestimate Don Wells. Yep, Sonia was with me. Don't underestimate the real me too. Don't underestimate Don Wells. And I got to say that, and that's a guy that's just trash. Okay, Chris and Katie actually have education, plus they're street smart too, and they're military trained. You got the trifecta with Chris and Katie. It's scary. It's scary.
Dogs frequently pick up scent, even when footprints are absent. The lack of both strengthens the inference that Sebastian's movement, if it occurred at all, did not involve unassisted foot travel through the yard or surrounding terrain. Another critical detail is the absence of shoes. Files document that Sebastian disliked walking barefoot, particularly outside. For a neurodivergent teenager, aversion to certain tactile sensations such as cold ground, rough surfaces, or unpredictable textures can be intense. A voluntary departure without shoes is inconsistent with known behavioral patterns. In forensic reconstruction, this detail is not minor, it is central. Runaways, especially in colder conditions or unfamiliar environments, do not leave without footwear unless in extreme psychological states or under coercion.
Mom of 9.5. That's cute. That's cute. Yes, he would have. That's what my cousin said. My cousin's military trained, but he was in the Army. And so, early on in this case, I brought this case up to him and asked him, if you could give me kind of an edge or an angle to look at here, what would it be? And so he asked me about the case a little bit, and he asked me about the parents. And when he found out that they were military, because I said they're military trained, and he said, what military? I said, the Navy. He just said, water. Look at water. Look at water. And he's like, if you were talking about Army, he goes, I would say that there might not be much left, because he talked about how they were taught how to make like a heat turbine. And he says it takes about an hour and a half to construct. but it causes such a high heat. And it's made just from, believe it or not, normal stuff you can find just about anywhere, at any scrapyard, at anything. And he says that it will burn so hot that it turns your bones to powder. So he's like, if you were dealing with somebody from the Army, I'd say that's what happened. He goes, but if you're dealing with somebody from the Navy, he's like, I would look at the water. Hey, Mama Dukes, it's nice to see you. And so that's where I'm going to say, and that's where I have said the water. We need to go back in time and find out what we were watching and looking at the time that they filed those restraining orders on me, because I think we rattled somebody's tree, and I don't think it's because we're coming to protest freaking downtown. I think we rattled a tree. I think we were close to something. I've never been arrested for or anything from speaking. Anyways, I'm not even going to go there. It's just going to make my freaking blood pressure go through the roof.
Coercion. Stranger abductors, on the other hand, do not typically remove victim shoes at the scene. Doing so increases risk and extends time on location. The only scenario in which a child...
Let's listen to that again. I want you guys to hear that. We'll go back 15 seconds.
Footwear, unless in extreme psychological...
Let's go back further.
This detail is not... Unpredictable textures can be intense. A voluntary departure without shoes is inconsistent with known behavioral patterns. In forensic reconstruction, this detail is not minor, it is central. Runaways, especially in colder conditions or unfamiliar environments, do not leave without footwear unless in extreme psychological...
Well, Denise, if you're starting from the beginning, you're not on the rewatch crew. You're actually live right now, but if you're not at this moment into the live stream and you're at the beginning, you will find out when you get to this point of the live stream that you were part of the live stream. Welcome, love.
Psychological states or under coercion. Stranger abductors, on the other hand, do not typically remove victim shoes at the scene. Doing so increases risk and extends time on location. The only scenario in which a child leaves without shoes and without resistance is one in which he is guided by someone he trusts. The next element is the absence of camera footage.
So, guided by someone he trusts, absent of video footage. Let's keep listening.
No camera captured Sebastian exiting the home.
Or anybody else. The only thing we saw was what appeared to be flashlights going across a common area to a car, but we never seen anybody walk specifically out of his house or into his house at all that night.
This includes neighboring houses, street-facing systems, and private surveillance. A voluntary departure would almost certainly cross at least one camera angle, and a stranger abductor approaching the home would almost certainly be recorded somewhere along the approach route. The absence of video is not a neutral fact. It implies that Sebastian's movement was confined to the known camera blind spot behind the house, a location identified unprompted by Chris. When reconstructing the event, this blind spot is the only plausible egress path that avoids all surveillance. Also relevant is the lack of forced entry or signs of struggle. The doors were not damaged, and there were no indications that an intruder entered the home.
So no intruder, but I'm not sure that him leaving without shoes is completely indicative of being coerced out of the house by somebody that he knows. Coast Guard would be the same as Navy. I think so. It incinerates you to foot powder. I remember my cousin explained it. He's like, you can literally assemble something. It takes you an hour and a half, and it's basically like a mini inferno, is the way he described it. Navy would make me believe water. Yep. The cement comment, he was excited to go into detail, in my opinion. Yeah. He laughed at people for saying something about, cement, but they were talking about a property. But you know what? We need to consider that Chris's family has a lot of concrete, right? He has access to a lot of concrete. He has access to probably a concrete cutter. Why does this matter? Because, I mean, in all fairness, everybody's looking at him being buried, like, you know, him going and doing like a, you know, the footer or something like that. I heard that. But what if it's not like that at all? What if he just had access to concrete and he could have put concrete in a freaking cooler and sunk a cooler? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He just seems so confident Sebastian's not coming home and Sebastian will never be in that bed again. And for him to talk to Seth about things going south, that tells me that he knows that this child was deceased. He knew this child was deceased that day. Who says that? Let me ask you guys that. Do you guys think it's normal for a stepfather on literally, like, within 2 hours of him coming home on the first day to be talking to talking to Seth and Katie about, you know, what happens if they, like, it hasn't even been the child hasn't even been gone, but for several hours at this point. And Chris is already talking about this child being deceased. Like, I don't know about you, but do you guys think that that's appropriate? Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that's normal. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't think that's normal. Like, I just don't understand. It seems to me he knew a lot more at the day that Sebastian, that this you know, party was at their house, outside of their house, the search party. It seems like he was very familiar with the fact that Sebastian wasn't coming home. They called Seth before they called law enforcement. It took them 30 minutes from the time Katie called her husband to the time they called law enforcement. Those first interviews, they said within minutes they called. Within minutes. There's no way you can mistake 3 minutes to 30 minutes. There's just no way. There's just no way, in my opinion. Yeah. So we got a lot of 2s. Not appropriate. Wait, sorry, what's the question? Oh, Christopher Proudfoot, when he got home on the 26th. So you have the search underway. The cavalry's there. Law enforcement is all over Hendersonville. Chris didn't tell his work, but he was having a poor attitude and they kicked him off the job. And that happened between 10 and 11. I believe he left there around 10:30. Everybody's saying 11, but according to my calculations, he left there at 10:30. He was kicked off the job at 10:30 and was on his way home. Either way, he got home around between 1 and 2. And with him being home for less than 2 hours, this is the day that they're out there searching for him. He just got home. And he hasn't even been home for an hour, and he looks directly at Seth and asks Seth, what happens if things go south? What happens if things go south? This child hadn't even been missing 24 hours. Chris hadn't even been home for 2. I think that right there, I think, who asks that? I've listened to a lot of missing child cases, you know, just the body cam footage. We've watched it in other cases where people were missing and we wanted to show moms or dads losing their children and, you know, how frantic they are when law enforcement pulls up and everything like that. Do you know, out of all the footage that I have reviewed, even down to Leilani Simon's footage, you guys remember they released that too, not one time have I ever heard anybody, and this is out of, I want to say, 100 or more over the years that we've watched of these children wandering off and parents being, oh my God, my baby. And law enforcement say, ma'am, you can't go there. I need you to stay right here. I need you to talk to me. I need you to talk. You know, we watched so many of those videos and never once have I ever heard a father or a stepfather or a mother or a stepmother ever ask what happens, what are we going to do if things go south? I've never heard that. I have never heard that in all of the videos, even with the guilty parents. Even with the guilty parents, I've never heard the parents ever make that statement, ever, not once. And to hear that come out of Seth's mouth and him saying he had to leave, he had to walk away, that's pretty significant. But I don't think it's normal. I really don't. Oh, hey, crazy country gal. It's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you've been doing well.
Stranger abductions from inside a residence are exceedingly rare, and when they occur, they usually leave physical indicators: broken locks, disturbed rooms, overturned objects. Nothing of that nature was documented. The forensic conclusion is straightforward: no unknown individual entered the home to remove Sebastian. These physical factors, no footprints, no scent trail, no footwear, no video evidence, and no forced entry, constitute a set of deficiencies that almost never occur simultaneously in genuine runaway or stranger abduction cases.
In general runaway or stranger abduction cases. So that's what we've been saying from the very beginning. It doesn't sound like a stranger danger abduction, and it doesn't sound like he wandered out of this home. Whatever happened to him either happened before he got home, but we've got to go. Listen, I know how people feel about this, but I have to go by the facts we have. And when I have a sheriff conclusively say that Sebastian got home, Sebastian was home conclusively. Okay? It was Sebastian that took the garbage to the road. Law enforcement is not going to make up details like that. Okay? Now, they will lie to us to deflect. And this is bringing me full circle to the question I was asking when we started the show, but didn't quite finish. And that's if law enforcement is trying to convince us what we are seeing in the lights video is not what we're seeing in the lights video, would they also lie about when that dog jumped into that retaining pond? Would they also lie that dog was a false positive hit, even though his own handler says he has never seen his dog ever act like that before? Aw, thank you, Sonia. Sonia saying, getting those thumbs up. Get those thumbs up. We got 200 people in chat. We need to get the thumbs up. So if you guys have not been over to the vertical side, please go over there, give it a thumbs up. And when you're done there, come back over here to the horizontal side and give this a thumbs up. I do like the horizontal, because they provide different viewership. Some people don't watch horizontal. They like the TikTok type version of YouTube, and it annoys them to have horizontal, and some people are just the opposite. They like the widescreen version and not the the other version. So do what makes you feel good. Aw, thank you. I saw that come in, but I can't even get down to it because my chat is frozen again. There we go. It's freezing and then unfreezing. So I know we got some issues going on with either the vertical or I think it's the vertical. The vertical is the one that's had the error. My horizontal appears to be excellent, just not my vertical. So my vertical only has like 41 people in it with a chat rate of 2. So we love you, vertical people. We love you. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're kind of circling back to this case because we've got another case called Rebecca Park. And her mother did the absolute unthinkable, and her stepfather. She was pregnant. She was getting ready to deliver her baby. And instead of them allowing her to deliver her baby, they wanted to take the baby. For whatever reason, they planned on taking this child from her. So they basically kidnapped their own child, took her out to the woods, stabbed her, and then cut her abdominal place, the stomach open, to try to get the child. And it sounds like both mom and child succumb to that attack by the grandmother and the step-grandfather. And so Stephanie, she's on TikTok. I've been watching her for years on TikTok. I didn't know she was over on YouTube, but somebody sent me her commentary. I think it was KB that sent me the commentary. And of course, I got to see the interview with, actually, no, I think it was Deanna that sent the interview that we were watching with Stephanie. But KB sent me a lot of other stuff that we are going to be watching, right? So long story short, this mother was on this channel, and one of the comments she said was something like, I just want to, I really don't care where my daughter is. I just want to make sure that she and the baby are okay, that she and the baby are okay, right? Oh, thank you guys. We made it to the goal. You guys are so sweet. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Ooh, we got this one. Hold on. Hey! It still hasn't come up on me yet. I'm still waiting for it to catch up. We've been having some lag in the system. Oh no, there's Sonia. There's Show Poodles. Oh, you did another one. Okay, I want to make the goal. Oh, that's what you wanted to do. Okay, Melody, show some love. Oh, you guys are sweet. You guys are super, super sweet. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. You made my night. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Medic Biker, it's nice to see you. Everybody, thanks. So, we're having problems with this because we're still in the unknown phase. I mean, some of the direction we should have, hey girl mom, some of the direction we should have in this case, we should have. We should know whether he made it home conclusively or not. But I have to think, it's just hard because Sonny, not Eric Craddock, because Sonny was he was an old dog, okay? He does things probably the way I'm accustomed to them being done, okay? Sonny I could have dealt with. Eric Craddock is a bozo, okay? So it's not Eric that said it. It's not the same officer that's already lied to us many times. It's Sonny. Sonny wasn't known for lying. Sonny was a good old country boy. He was as forthcoming as he could possibly be with the PIs. Okay? You could tell. When it started getting into a hairy spot, you could hear him pull back and say, look, I can't give you guys all the information. So I trust his statements when he said that Sebastian was the one that took the garbage out. Okay? I know we heard rumors that the image was so grainy they couldn't make it out, but the sheriff is saying it was him. And that to me tells me that he made it home. And I don't see the sheriff, if he didn't think that this kid came home or they had no evidence this kid came home, I think he would have said that. Look, we're having a hard time to even determine whether he came home because we know he never left the house. So now we have to look at, whether he even made it to the house or not. I could see Sonny telling them that. He wouldn't tell them that he walked into the house and just never came out again. And I've got to really... it's hard, but I've got to trust that. That's all we have. And I know we have our assumptions and we have our gut feelings and stuff like that, but we can cap that all day long. But this is the facts. This is what Sonny's saying is happening. This is what happened. We can't say, oh, well, Sonny's not here. We can't, it must have changed. He must have lied. I'm not making Sonny out. Now, you tell me that Eric Craddock said that. We'll have some wiggle room here because Eric Craddock has been caught lying to us already before, right? And he may have lied about the false positive of the hit just to keep that under wraps because he didn't want that out, right? And so there might be some things that Eric has been devious to us about, but I didn't get that vibe from Sonny, okay? I just didn't. So why no scent dogs hit the trash can the next day? I don't know if we can conclusively say they didn't. Because if we were to go by what we learned, and we can bring Gray Hugh, maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow morning, bring Gray Hugh's, video back up from where he talked to Chris, because there was some hits around the house. But see, after the fact, it was Eric Craddock that told us they were false positives. So I wouldn't say that there was no hit on the trash cans, because the people went from the side of the garage around the house and through the common area. You know? So I don't know. Well, that's what I'm getting at, Tulips, is we've been saying that there is no scent. But what if they lied to us about that? Because we did have a dog dive into a pond, did we not? I mean, I would, from a layman, I would think that that's a pretty strong scent that would propel a dog to go diving into a pond. You know, they ended up draining the pond. It didn't produce anything. But that's pretty stinking odd for a dog to track from the Proudfoot home to that pond and dive in so much that his handler told the person that was standing next to him he had never seen his dog ever act like that. The handler had to literally dive into the water to go get his dog. Seth said you couldn't see it. If even Katie said it was super grainy. I don't understand why no one has arrested me. Well, I do. Same reason why nobody's arrested in Summer Wells' case. They don't have a body. That's why. This is Tennessee. Okay? And despite my frustration, Max ground disturbance dog fell into the pond. Fell into. I think that's. We'll go back and look at that. I think, you know what, with all this, maybe we should just go back and look at that. So let me get a piece of paper here. Let's write some things down so tomorrow we can go back and check those things. So let's go back to the dog jumping in the pond. I thought he jumped. Me too, Jenny, but that's okay. You know what? This is great. You know, some people's either I'm misunderstood something or maybe but it wouldn't hurt, you know, really wouldn't hurt for us to go back. So let's go back to the days of the dog. So let's go maybe tomorrow. Why don't we do this? You need to get Canine. Oh, I can get Jules. I could probably get Jules up here. I'll have to call her, see what she's up to. But I don't think she's going to be up as early as we do this. It might have to be a Friday. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll reach out to her and see if she'll want to do an interview on Friday. Maybe we'll bring her up on Friday if she's willing to, and it'll give her plenty of time to, you know, whatever. I don't want to commit her until I speak to her, but let me. Okay, so we can probably do that, Nero. I think that would be good. Okay, so maybe for tomorrow. Yeah, Mama Bear says, nah, his handler said he dove in, hence saying he never saw his dude. I remember him saying his dog, he never saw his dude do that. You know what we will do? Tomorrow what we'll go over is we'll go over the dogs. Crystal Pistol's here. She's obviously behind the... Once you get to this point, you'll realize you're a little bit lagging. Crystal Pistol, we love you. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. Okay, well, you know, at the end of the day, let's go over the dog stuff. Why don't we make the dogs the topic of conversation tomorrow? And we'll just take however long it takes us to dive into the dogs and see what we, you know, just so we're all on the same page with the dogs. Do you guys think that's a good idea? Would you guys do you think it'll be beneficial for me to do a show on on everything, you know, related to what happened? Hey, Meganels, it's nice to see ya. BHB, she spoke at length on it with Lady F about it. Yeah, but I like I said, I'm happy to bring her up on here, Nero. I'll have to reach out to her. Thank you, Mom of 9.5. I still can't get over the 9. I love it. That's cute. I don't know if you got bread in the oven or you got a toddler around, a little infant. I'm trying to figure it out. But anyways, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I understand, and she very well may have, but we're going off, and again, you'll find out very well. And well, actually, Neuro, you've been around here long enough to know that I go off the information somebody's assumption or how they perceive something may be different how I perceive something. So I'll reach out to her, see about getting her on the show this week if possible. And see what she can do. But I think for our show tomorrow, I think we should revisit everything, dog related and tracking related from that day. I think that, how could that possibly be a bad thing? Jules said TBI took a small piece of carpet from Sebastian's room for the dog. That's just so weird. With his shoes there, they took a piece of carpet? They cut a piece of carpet out? That's never good. I have never, we hear shoes, underwear is a great place for scent, socks are a great place for scent, but to cut a piece of carpet from Sebastian's room? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. When we start hearing things being cut out of rooms, that never is a good sign, folks. I'm sorry, it's just not. And think about it. How often? Well, I guess it's a question for us to ask Jules. You know what? Hold on. Hold. Nah, I don't want to call. I don't want to just bomb her right now and just call her and put her on the spot. You know what? We're asking Google. How often does law enforcement cut out carpet for a scent dog? Yeah. I'm telling you, there's just something not kosher with all that. If they're cutting out the carpet, that sounds something forensic, like they found. I don't hear them. Usually they don't cut carpet or drywall unless they think that there's evidence on it. When I start hearing carpet being cut out of his bedroom, I'm that doesn't even, especially with his shoes being right there. Because we watched the whole search for Madeline Soto, and they were at this church and they had a search dog. Hey, Pussy Willow Pendercat, it's nice to see you. Mandy Dubitz, nice to see you. Not sure, I don't know. I don't know, Nero. I think we're going to have to bring her up. We'll have to bring her up and question her. And she said there was specific electronic dogs at the landfill. So if they're electronic dogs, what are specific? Let's look at what specific electronic dogs are. Dog function. Electronic dogs, e-dogs, serve two main functions: highly specialized electronic detection dogs for law enforcement, sniffing out hidden electronics like phones, USB drives, and like other chemicals for crimes like Child E and CSAM. Interesting. So they believe that they threw electronics out. What if that's what she handed over to Kathy that morning? And Kathy wouldn't have thrown them away in their landfill. It would have been wherever Kathy, they screwed that up. They should have isolated Kathy and Terry immediately. I wonder if, man, they manipulated the case from the very beginning when his shoes were left. I don't think that was manipulating. I think that that's what the shoes being there are the reason why I've always believed Katie just snapped, that this wasn't, like premeditated. I keep thinking maybe there's a piece of me that just believes that they're, like, even the stuff at the Texas Roadhouse was just, she was just bored or something like that. I don't know what her state of mind was at the Texas Roadhouse, but I don't know. E-dogs, man, but what if she did? Because there's been too many people. This is my problem. There's just been too many people that have come forward stating that they believe they saw Kathy at Worsham's, right past Worsham's, okay? There's been multiple people that said that. I mean, about 6 or more. There might be more people. The last time I checked, it was 6 people, okay? One man that came up to me and told me his story and said, look, I went up to Kathy myself and told her I absolutely did see you. And so Kathy would know who that man is, but that man told me that story. And if she was up at Worsham's, and we know Katie drove up there, and we know that there's e-dogs out in the field, obviously something was taken out of that house. Everybody keeps thinking it was Sebastian. I don't, because I think that would have been too obvious that morning. And everybody kept saying it had to have been evidence. But what evidence? I was thinking of like maybe cleaning towels or stuff to clean stuff up with or stuff like that. But now that we have this new tidbit of information that there were e-dogs out there in the landfill, that's implying that maybe they were looking for phones, because maybe they believe that there was communications on burners. People have brought up burners in the past. This also might be, people were talking about how in the world can this woman work for Brinks and not have security cameras. And this has been a very hot topic because of the way people have asked him about the cameras in the house, in the weird way that they've been answering the camera issue. They've never really answered it. They give weird answers, but it's never really answering it. He has conflicting statements about phone pings too. Yeah, it's just, it's weird. It's weird. So were some of the cameras there, recorded by SD cards as opposed to being on a cloud? Something, they must have believed something. Hey, Nanny, it's nice to see you, Patty. That something was going to be found in that landfill. They didn't find it. They knew something was missing, but what if they gave it to Kathy? I believe Kathy would do anything for her son. I think she's just I think she screwed up her son. I think she was a floozy when he was younger. I think she brought a lot of men home. And I think a few of those men abused Chris, either SA to him or just was very, very highly abusive toward him. But I absolutely do believe that. That's the only thing that would make sense to why Chris can hurt a woman. He has a poor look on his own mother because clearly his mother's in his life. And usually men that abuse women come from a house where there was abuse and it's okay and it's normalized, or they just absolutely hate their mother. I mean, there's not a whole lot of in between. So I truly believe he was injured while his mom was bringing different guys home before she married and tied herself down to Terry. Something wasn't right with Chris. Chris and Katie both have very messed up families, and I probably wouldn't be surprised if we ever found out Chris was SA'd. I wouldn't be surprised. That would explain, actually it would explain a lot if he was SA'd. It would explain literally a lot. It would explain everything. It would explain why he was damaging, injuring animals when he was younger. An infant, 6 months old. I knew it was one or the other. You had either a bun in the oven or an infant. I knew it. So you're really mama of 10. I love it. Well, you have a great evening. All you guys have a great evening. We're going to have to hit this again tomorrow. There's so much on this case. And now, we're kind of opening up different points. I don't think we're opening up new points of topic. I think we're going back to revisit some things to clarify things for ourselves. So I think tomorrow we're going to go back to the beginning and look at the history with the dogs. I think the history with the dogs are important. And I'll reach out to Jules and see if she'll be able to join us anytime this week and try to work around her schedule to get her up on the show. And maybe that might help clarify some things for Nero, and we can ask some questions and just make sure that everybody's on the same page. I think that's the best for everything. So I'll see what I can do, guys. We'll see you guys first thing in the morning. When's the show tomorrow morning? I don't know, because I was up ridiculously early today. I have been going, it's 6 o'clock at night. I still haven't stopped. I still got to take a shower, get all this crap off my face. This is my second wardrobe change. This morning I was in a dress and heels before 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I'm just saying. So, we'll see you guys in the morning. I don't know what time. Just if you guys haven't set your bell to all, set it to all, because I just, when we're like this and I'm still trying to get our channel back to functioning like it used to, where we had 3 shows a day. We got to get up a little earlier to make that possible. So my first show of the day is going, around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. So if you guys are up that early and you want to come hang out. But we'll definitely hit it and try to get this. We'll also try to get, Hindsight, Mama Rissa, and BMW Coop up here to see, with some information from, I haven't had a chance to talk to them. I haven't had a chance to talk with a whole bunch of anybody. So maybe we'll get them back up here and see, how they feel about, hearing from Sonny before he died, and see how that might have changed their opinion or something like that. And maybe we'll just get up here and just try to do like maybe some stuff so we can get clarification and get all on the same page. At the end of the day, we want the truth. We want to find out what happened, the truth about Sebastian Rogers, and I just want this uneasy feeling in the pit of my stomach to go away. I just want him found. Okay, if he's deceased, he's deceased. If he's alive, he's alive. We want him to be alive. We want him to be with his dad. But we're going on a 2-year milestone, so the idea that we keep saying that there's no possibility of him being deceased, it's wrong. It's just wrong. I want people to keep looking for him. I want people to be out in the field looking for him. I want them to be out in the woods looking for him. We're not going to find him. In my opinion, we've spent a lot of time calling facilities, sending and faxing flyers to them, faxing flyers to the board, the ports of entry. I think that maybe even some of us have done that, so we feel like we've done our part. And in many of us, that's all we can do. But for some of us, we need to probably start getting some search efforts underway and start really looking at some maps or bringing in some professionals, and I think we're going to be trying to hit it with the United Cajun Navy again. I think we're going to try to bring them back in and, see what we can do, to get something. We know where ground zero is, okay? We know where he was. Ground zero. Well, we have ground zero in 2 places. It really depends where your ground zero is. Somebody's ground zero may be the Texas Roadhouse. Somebody's ground zero may be the house. But again, let's just get some people in here, get some clarification on some stuff and see where that lines up. And then we'll move forward from there. But I think we all need some clarification on the dogs. And obviously we have Jules, which I met personally, sweet person. She helped me out and PA. I'd like to have spent more time out there, but I'm glad I had her because I was in an area that Caitlin was not at. Caitlin Hart. We went out to PA. We did the whole thing of PA. I did a whole bunch of stuff with PA, and then I had to drive all the way back, which was not fun by any stretch of the imagination. Oh my gosh, the drive to Arizona sucked. The drive to Pennsylvania sucked, but I'll do the Pennsylvania drive again, but I won't do that Arizona drive again. If we can't fly out that way, I'm not driving. Not doing it again. That was horrible. It was daunting, but I had to do what I had to do. For that trip, it saved us a boatload of money. So, anyways. All right, guys. SEO needs to conduct a search from the beginning. Yeah, they do. They need to get out there, and now is a time. Go back and revisit. They won't. This is the most frustrating law enforcement I have never met a law enforcement body that wasn't willing to do everything they possibly could do to close a case. I just have never seen it. And it's the most depressing thing to watch. It's the most helpless and hopeless thing to watch. Sumner County Sheriff has really lost a lot of faith. We have such high hope for law enforcement, but when crap like this happens, it's horrible. I'm done. Okay. Anyways, guys, I love you. God bless you. Take care. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. My dog is at my feet. She just wants my attention. So I'm going to have to let y'all go. I just want to tell you, I do love you. And we will see you on the flip side, right? We'll see you on the flip side. Thank you guys so very much for coming out and being part of this show. Again, we need to dive in. If there's questions about the dogs, let's revisit the dogs. Let's be very, very clear on what we're dealing with here. All right, guys, God bless. We'll see you soon.